Right, and as we've been telling you, Komla Kluche is waiting to speak to Professor Ransford Jampo about some of the 12 ministerial appointments made by President Akufo-Addo. Over to you, Komla.
Science lecturer at the University of Ghana. Very good evening to you, sir.
Hi, good evening.
Now, what do you make of the appointment of or the nomination by the president for ministerial appointment, job for the boys or the cronies?
Well, I think saying job for the boys is a crude description. I don't want to go that route. Generally, in my view, if you look at the galaxy of people that have been assembled so far, there are people who have the pedigree, and it shows that the president is really committed to what he said he's going to do for Ghanaians. You have quite some young people, some old faces, some women, and generally people who have seen it all before, experienced and quite competent. And I'm sure it's an assemblage of people that would enable the president deliver on whatever promises that he's made to the people. The challenge I have so far is that it seems to me that the ministerial designations are at the moment plagued with role duplicities in a manner that have the tendency of creating a big government. And we all know big government all over the world drain on resources of state. If you know how much it costs to hire just one deputy minister, not a minister, one deputy minister, you may refer to the work that myself and my colleague Anam Zoya wrote some years back on ministry appointment and governmental expenditure in Ghana's Fourth Republic. You see how much it costs to hire just one deputy minister, and you appreciate the concerns that have been raised that the Addo administration must think of having an optimum size government. I'm looking for a situation where the size of the government wouldn't be more than 50. Remember that Britain runs on 13 ministers. Japan has 17 ministers. In South Africa, they don't have more than 40 ministers. And so we cannot go the route of Rawlins's 83 ministers, Kufuor's 88 ministers, Atamels's 75 ministers, and Mahama's close to 100 ministers. I think that President Nana Akufo-Addo should think of having an optimum size government of not more than 50 ministers. In so doing, he may have to rethink the duplication of roles in the current designations that I've seen.
He clearly may not have a lean government after all. You have made some point or some write-up as to who should be playing a dual role and which of the ministries should probably be realigned. You have concerns with, for instance, the role of the senior minister. You have concerns with that of the regional. Yes, which ones should be?
First of all, you don't need a whole minister for monitoring and evaluation. If you have a competent chief of staff assisted by 2 deputies, they should be able to undertake monitoring and evaluation of all the works and projects and duties and responsibilities of the various ministry. Again, you don't need a minister, a whole minister for regional reorganization. I think that, so what happens if the person completes his task? I think a desk at the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development should be able to handle that. Again, you don't have to get a ministry for transport and then also have a ministry for railway. Very soon, I'm sure they will bring about ministry for ports, harbors, and aviation. I mean, these are all means of transport. So you can have an overarching Ministry of Transport and then subsume all these under them. And then, as John Mahama did, they may think about merging the Information Ministry with the Communication Ministry. And then works and housing must go with water. And there should be no ministry in charge of sanitation, because this is a job that is supposed to be undertaken by the various metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies. And so if they are not doing it, you don't create a separate ministry to take charge of a duty that is supposed to be done by existing state agency. The question you must ask yourself is, why have the ministry, metropolitan, municipal, and district assembly, why have they been deficient in delivering on their mandate as far as sanitation is concerned? And address that question. If we address it, then we may not need a ministry solely in charge of sanitation. Maybe last but not the least is the fact that we have a senior ministry, senior minister, and I'm thinking it's what it's vague. I mean, it was a creation of the Kufuor administration to bring J.H. Mensah close to his government, but I don't think it must be institutionalized, particularly when you have a chief of staff. I mean, who becomes who? The chief of staff is supposed to be heading the various ministers or ministries, taking reports for them, coordinating the activities and all that. If you have a senior ministry, is he also going to be subsumed under the chief of staff? It creates role duplication. I don't think it is necessary.
Professor Ransford Jampo is the head of European Studies here at the
Well, Professor Ransford Jampo there, the Institute of Economic Affairs, he's a fellow there, and he's been talking to Komla Kluche on some of the nominations made by President Akufo-Addo for confirmation from Parliament.